So I'm just out here in the Midlands having a little break with the missus. Do you want to say hello?
Hello.
Hello. So just having a little retreat and a little rest without the children, and we're just chilling and talking. Because when you're doing the school run, doing everything, hustle and bustle, no time. So I think it's really a good thing. Maybe probably do this once a year. Yeah, more often, like she said. Huh? Once a year is too small. Okay, she said once a year is too small, so you probably do it from time to time. Just reevaluate everything, see what we're doing well and what we're not doing well to, readjust. So yeah, it's been a good time away. Yeah, maybe you should do that too if you're if you're married.
If you're not married, don't do it. Don't take your time away or reevaluate. Single people can't go away by themselves. They reevaluate themselves.
Sometimes we're talking about marriage. The video is about marriage. So if you're not married, don't go out with your boyfriend and go and lodge somewhere and say you want to evaluate stuff. Don't go and do that, please. We are children of God, be holy, do something that is modest, no fornication and all those things. It's only for married people. So in today's video, we're talking about what ladies normally talk about. They say always ask all these questions like, where are all the good men? Where are all the good men? So that's basically what we're going to be talking about today. So I am going really in today's video. So first of all, I'm just going to talk about the reason why a lot of men are, I don't know, probably scared or hesitant in terms of marriage, why they don't want to go into marriage. So the first one would be they believe that they don't have enough money to look after the family, so there's no point getting someone involved into the in their life. So that's like number one. Second reason is basically when men look at the divorce rate in the world right now. So 50%, the statistics is that 50% of marriages end up in divorce. So they're like scared, like what's going to happen to me? What if I invest my time, energy, resources into this marriage and then it doesn't work out? What's going to happen? Following on from that, like the divorce course as well. Custody battles are mostly won by women, so they feel like, okay, what's going to happen to my children? Am I going to be able to visit my children or like have my children in my life? Let's not forget that a lot of women use children as a weapon to fight if the marriage doesn't work again. Also, if there's a divorce, most of the time the wife would get 50% of the money made by the family, or let's say what made by the man. So he would be like, okay, I've invested a lot of money, invested a lot of time in building, let's say, a business or building like a property portfolio, all that. Yes, even though I married this person, but maybe I don't think the person's input was up to half of my portfolio, my empire. So it's like, why do I have to work this hard and then just because we got divorced, everything, half of it is gone? I want to talk about the flip side as well, because let's face it, even when people say they're not good men, I'm sure there are some good men around. The question shouldn't be why can't we find good men? The question should be, why are good men not choosing us? Or why are we actually choosing the bad guys? because the whole responsibility should not rest on guys. As adults, we make up our mind on who you want to date, on who you want to talk to, give our number, spend our time with. So, I think ladies should start asking questions about why are the good guys not choosing us, or why are we choosing the bad guys? That's a very important question to ask. So, one important thing to look into is a lot of people, both men and women, don't really know what the purpose of marriage is. They just get into it because people are getting married. Especially from a Christian perspective, loads of us don't really know what marriage is about. And also, like women, a lot of women, I wouldn't say all, but a lot of women, they know what they want out of marriage, right? But they don't know what the other party, the man, wants from marriage too. So you know what you want, like on the wedding day, you know what you want: the bouquet, the photography, the procession, the bridesmaid, everything on point. But after the marriage, after the wedding, then what? Like, you don't even know what you're supposed to be doing. Because let's face it, a wife is not a title. A wife is a duty. So people don't seem to think about that. Being a wife is a duty, and you get to know your duty by knowing the purpose of marriage. So according to biblical or Christian tradition, marriage is when a man who is you know financially sufficient, mature, godly, decides to leave his family and start his own family. Okay. And in doing that, then he wants to bring in someone to help him to build a godly family. So that's basically what marriage is. The wife is coming to help this man, this mature man, to build a godly family. So, but obviously, because of the culture, a lot of us don't know what the purpose of marriage is. They feel like, okay, we've been dating, we've been boyfriend and girlfriend forever. So, okay, for however long. So let's not make it official. No, but marriage is different from being in a relationship, or like being doing this boyfriend and girlfriend thing. It's different. It's for mature people who know what they're doing. The man wants to build a family, and the wife is coming in to help him build a godly family. That's what marriage is about. But the question now becomes, are you a wife? Because the Bible says he that finds a wife finds a good thing. So are you a wife? You need to start looking into what a wife does, how they're supposed to act, what their duties are in the home. Are you prepared to do them? Because don't forget that when you're having a conversation with people, with guys who are interested in you, based on the way you talk and what you talk about in terms of family life, everything, they'll be able to decide whether this person would fit into my vision for a family. And if it's not, fitting, then uh, they would have to pass. If they are godly men who want to build a family, there are different things that men want. Let's talk about what men want. Um, so first one is men want someone who is young and feminine. Okay, so that means that I need someone who doesn't look older than me. Let's be real, you know, or someone who looks young. Because at the end of the day, we're looking at the longevity as well as men. How will me and this person look like in the future? Would they be able to carry my children? And how do they look physically? Do they look nice? You know, do they look like they, when they start having children, how would they look? I'm sure like some people would be like, well, that's shallow to just look at women like that. But hey, if you're a woman, you know what you want in a man, right? You want him to be financially stable or sufficient to look after you, buy things for you, do things for you, take you out. That's your what's it called? Your standard. So men too have standards, and these are the standards. They want someone who is young, who can carry their children, and also look they can grow together. Not the person is growing too far ahead of them. They want someone who is feminine, right? They don't want, look, men don't want to marry boss chicks, right? Boss ladies. Like, we want to be the head of the family, the head of the house. When we go out to hustle and do all sorts and come back, we don't want to come back and compete with anyone, right? One person has to be the leader, and by God's order, the person is the man. So we don't want to go out and then hustle and then come back and then compete with our lady. No man wants to do that. Um, but that's the thing. I mean, loads of ladies feel like I'm an independent woman. Basically because of feminism and all that stuff that has crept into the church. So people don't know, what they are supposed to be doing, where they, how to act. They feel like, okay, if I make a lot of money, I look appealing to a man. No, men don't really care about your money because they're meant to be the providers, right? So they don't really care about your money. At the end of the day, let's face it, most women don't even spend the money on their husbands. They spend it on themselves. So in that sense, we don't really care about your money. Men want someone who is cooperative. I'm using cooperative because the modern women now don't like the S word, which is submission. They don't like that word, submission. So someone who's cooperative, if someone is leading and they say, okay, hey, let's do this way, let's go this way, you'd be like, okay, I got you. Let's go. Because you're the leader, I respect you. Let's go. I respect your intelligence. I respect your integrity. I know you care for me. So let's go. Someone who's not going to be nagging all the time. We don't want to come home and be hearing someone nagging in our ear all the time. We don't want that. So I mean, it's not that hard to actually impress men. We just want not a nagging wife. We want good food. Um, we want to have fun in the bedroom as much as we can. Um, as long as it's reasonable, and we want someone who can cook and clean. Like the next thing as well to look into is the lie of feminism. So like feminism has really crept into the church right now, and it's really affected people. So they feel like, okay, whatever a man can do, we can do. I don't need a man. Da, da, da. And if you're given that vibe because of feminism, right? Then if you don't feel, if your vibe is like, I don't need a man, then what is he gonna be doing for you? Like, why does he have to come in and invite you to be part of his life? Like, what is the point? Um, so it doesn't really make sense. So we know the order of God is God above Christ, Christ above the church above the man above the wife, and the wife above the children. So that is the order. But because people don't want to follow that order, they feel like, okay, whatever, we can do whatever we like. But that's the order of God, and if we are Christians, then we have to follow the order of God. So that's what is making like a lot of like loggerheads in families, and also in like in the dating scenario, because don't forget, if feminism has like sort of like infiltrated the person's mind, then that's going to come across in the way they're talking. And if you're talking to guys and they're feeling like, okay, this person's going to be a headache, then there's no point. So in that case, it's not really, oh, where are the good guys? It's like you're not what they're looking for, basically. So most of the time, it's not looking at guys to say they're bad or they're not around. It's like you looking at yourself to see, are you actually a wife, or are you actually what they're looking for in their life partner? Yeah. Another aspect as well is obviously feminism combined with the prosperity gospel is making people to have a wrong expectation about life and their own value as well. So what I mean by that is, when people think of themselves too highly, feel like they are on top, they are whatever level they think they are, because they are, or, feminism tells you that you can be whatever you want to be, right? And then you come inside the church, the pastor pumps you up to say you can get whatever you want, just prophesy, speaking it into existence, your husband is coming, but you're not behaving nicely, you're rude to people when they come and talk to you. I mean, if you want to be in a relationship, the guy has to come and talk to you, right? But when guys come to talk to you, you're rude to them, right? You're rude to them. So because you feel like you have time, right? You feel like you have time. Like whenever you want it, you just prophesy. You just speak things into existence and manifest it. But it doesn't work in real life, because you can't manifest a husband really. I mean, it's either you're a wife that he's looking for, or you're not. So you can't manifest it. You can't. That's a lie. I mean, forget all these pastors telling you, prophesying that this time next year, you're going to have your husband. It's a lie. If you don't already have what they're looking for, you're not going to, be spoken to. I mean, who wants someone to be rude to them? Well, who wants that? Um, so that's something to look at. Having high expectation, high you think yourself too highly because of the prosperity gospel. You think you're like the best thing that has happened to humanity since sliced bread. You think you're too beautiful, you think you're too pretty, you can talk to people anyhow, all that stuff. It catches up on you, because at the end of the day, don't forget that women have a time clock. Women have a time clock, um, while men don't really have that time clock. So the time between the ideal time for women to get married is between 18, or let's say, yeah, between 18 and 27. So if you pass any time over 27, you're going into the territory of, like how Nigerians would say, let us pray. Um, that's, or like some people call it, danger zone. That's when people start going to prayer houses and asking for men of God to pray for them, prophesy. Or you could have cooperated with people like before, instead of being like strong-headed and boss babe and all that stuff, because you think you have time, right? The good guys are not going to be waiting around for you to have all your fun and then come and then you want to, it doesn't make sense. You can't wish or pray away biology. Your biology will come back. It's there. It will. You can't run away from it. The older you get, the less beautiful you're going to be. So the less attractive you're going to be too. Whether you want to agree or whether you want to accept it or not, that's the truth. The less beautiful you're going to be, the less attractive you're going to be. Men are visual creatures, so they're going to look at people to see if they meet their physical standards, like what they like to see, what they like to have as a wife. Then they come and talk to you to then know your personality. So people say, oh, they should look at me. about my personality, my what I have upstairs in my brain. Listen, I need to know that what I'm looking at is good enough for me first before I go and talk to that person. Then find out they're born again, but find out they're intelligent, they're homely, they like family, or whatnot. So if you waste your youth having fun, which really and truly, if you're really a Christian, you should actually preserve yourself and not really go and have fun. And then in your later years, you want to come back and then obviously you've had fun with the bad boys as well. Because don't forget what we're talking about. Where are the good guys? So you've had fun with those people that have messed up with you. And then you want to come back and say, I want to settle down. You settle down with who? The good guys, right? No, they're not going to talk to you because they want they want girls who are young to build their empire with, their family with. Okay. But now you're not that young, so there are more people to look at. You've missed your chance if you're in that age range. You've missed your chance. So they're not going to talk to you. It doesn't matter how many prayers you do or whatever. It's only by the grace of God that you find someone that really, really loves you. But the attraction will not be there for people because you're not young. You're not what they're looking for. Because they need someone to carry their seed, someone they can build a family with. So, like I said, you can't pray away biology is there. The lie of prosperity gospel and feminism is making people to be single. Especially your fellows, if you have more like single friends, they'll be encouraging you, girl, don't worry, man, it's going to be well. But maybe you should talk to the married people to know how they got married, right? So that's why they say single women keep women single. Single women keep women single. Speak to other people who have been in the game. They can give you some good advice. Godly women as well. And yeah, maybe you should find out what men want, not just what you want from them. Find out what they want. Um, you know, because it's easy for women to be like, oh, I want someone who is godly. I want someone who is tall, handsome, works out, reads his Bible every day, prays and leads me. Okay, all well and good. But on the flip side, are you what they're looking for as well? They have their own standards. And are you even godly? Are you even godly? Like, do you love God? Do you respect His word in terms of obeying and being respectful and being submissive to a man according to the Bible? Because this is not a culture. This is not someone trying to put you down. This is how the Bible, wants it to be. Another thing as well to lesser forget is men don't want to marry prostitutes. Godly men, do not want to marry prostitutes. I mean, someone would be like, okay, that's very clear. It's very easy. Obviously, we don't want to marry someone who's the public toilet, who don't want to marry someone who has been run through by all the men in the church, all the men in the neighborhood. But there's also another way. So there's a saying that if you don't want to be called a prostitute, don't wear their uniform. If you don't want to be called a prostitute, don't wear their uniform. So what does that mean? If you are a Christian, if you are a godly woman, then your dressing as well should be godly as well. So if you're a Christian, every picture you're taking on Instagram, you're turning around for people to see your bum. You're bringing your tongue out, wearing crop top, showing this and showing that. Whether you're a prostitute or not, if you're dressing like that, that's how people are going to look at you. There's a saying that you're addressed the way you are dressed. So if you're looking like a prostitute, people are going to avoid you because even if you have the purest heart in the world, you're like the bestest girl in the world. But if you dress in a provocative way, in a way that is not decent, then people are going to assume, and that's how your character is. The Bible says that godly women should be chaste, they should be dressed modestly. So if you're always taking certain pictures, going to different clubs and all that, obviously you don't look like a godly woman. That means the godly men wouldn't want to marry a prostitute, like I said. So even if you're not a prostitute, but if you look like one, whether you are one or not, then godly men are going to avoid you. Something else to look into as well is don't choose bad guys and try to change them into good guys. It will always backfire. Christian ladies who get into relationships and it doesn't work out and they say, oh, the guy was bad, he was a dog, he was this and that. Trust me, they all saw the writings on the wall. They saw the signs, but they felt like they were that special. They had superpowers. They are prayer warriors. They can turn this guy who's been a bad boy. They can make him to change. You know, it's just uh what's it called? It's a fantasy. It's not real. Look, if someone is not born again to start with, there's no point messing with the person because the Bible said we should not be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. So that's a no-no in any way. So if you're having any feelings for someone who is not born again, dead it, kill it. There's no point. It's not even something to even discuss. But let's say you even start talking to someone from church and you think he's born again, but obviously, like as you're talking, you know the person's behavior, their standards, their values. If you're looking out for the right things, you will see the signs. Unless you are blinded by your lust and you don't want to, you feel like you have the power to change him. Like we say in Nigeria, some people do convert and marry, so they get someone who they feel like meets their criteria in terms of beauty, being handsome, having money or whatever, and then they ignore all the signs, ignore that the person is not born again, and they want to make that person to be a Christian, and then marry the person. The person might pretend for a while to get you, and then you get what you want. They're not going to be the actual good husband you want them to be because they weren't born again in the first place. So you were messing with the wrong thing. What is it called? Is it convert and marry? Is that how they call it? Yeah. Yeah. So don't do convert and marry. It's not. It's going to backfire. That person would tell you the all the good things you want to hear, and you feel good, but they're not born again. It's always going to backfire. Next one is a lot of people, a lot of ladies have um, their expectations are either unrealistic or too high. So maybe they need to adjust their expectation. You know. So an example would be you're a regular girl. Um, you're not like I don't know who's to use as an example, some beautiful person or whatever. You're just okay, right? But even though you're just okay, you want someone who's handsome. You want someone who's educated. You want someone who is tall, 6 foot. You want someone who is someone who fears God. You want someone who has good character. You want someone who drives a big car. You want someone who makes 750,000, a year salary. You, it's like it's just too high, and only a few percentage of people can meet those expectations. So you're reducing your chances as well. If your expectation is too high, especially if you don't have like sort of like the bargaining chips as well. If your expectation is too high, you're reducing your chances as well. You want this, you want this, you want this. It's like why and like who do you even think you are to demand all these things? If you're regular, what's wrong with getting with a regular guy and build a family together? What's the problem with that? Well, a lot of people just have this high expectation of themselves. You must have this and that, have to have this, and oh, the sex must be this out of this world. Even as Christians, you're not even supposed to try it out to find out anyway. But obviously, we know that people do this. The expectation is too high. So these are the things that are making loads of women not to be found. Because first of all, one, the expectation is too high. They're not wives, because the Bible says he that finds a wife finds a good thing. If you're not a prostitute, you're dressing like one, so you're ruling yourself out as well. So those are the reasons why men are not looking for you. So the question shouldn't be where are the good girls, like us, where are the good guys? There are no good guys around. The question should be, you have to have a self-reflection into, to yourself. Everything doesn't have to be answered from outside by pointing hands on, to other people. Reflect on yourself as well, and say, okay, is there any place I'm going wrong? Is there anything I need to improve? Talk to godly men or godly women, and also check what guys want, because the same way you want tall, handsome, nice, godly, rich, has cars, all these standards you have, the same way you have this standard of what you want, guys also have those standards. So find out what those standards are and see if you meet that, and if there's something you need to adjust. So that's the video for today. Thank you for watching. I know a lot of people are not going to take this, it's not the typical relationship videos that people watch that make them feel good. So let me know what you think about the video anyway. If there are any points you disagree, or if there's anything you feel like I need to clarify on, I need to make a video on, let me know in the comment section, then I'll probably make a video on that. So if you're not born again, please check out my video that I did. It's going to be in the description box. It's called The Gospel Explained. It's going to explain the gospel and how to become a Christian. Please watch that and get right with God. Like I always say, fear God and keep his commandments, for that is the whole duty of man. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. God bless you. Bye.